Man, I can't wait to do more of these. I need to get you out on some hard enduro.
Heck yeah, that's next. I'm ready to go tumble down some rocks. Lay it down.
No, no. Hello my friends, I'm Mccasland and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we are still in Reno. It's been a lot of fun learning from Anson Maloney. Now, we did the first 2 episodes. You guys can check that playlist out right here. And this is the 3rd episode. This one was amazing to me. I really learned a lot about just certain things. I mean, honestly, I'm doing a lot of stuff wrong, man, and aren't we all? The amazing thing about this is you can always continue to learn, and that's what I love about getting training from different riders. The one thing I can say is I recommend getting as much training as you can from every single point of view, because you might just learn something. It was a lot of fun today. We got into a little bit of a higher speed section that really took some precision, and I absolutely enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys are enjoying them well, and let's get right into it. All right, guys, we are on to a section that is really interesting out here. The cool thing about this place, there's a lot of sand. There's a lot of fun, you know, rutted corners. We've got a tight 180-degree corner, then straight into some rocky sections. And there's actually a few of them out here. And I really want to get your insight, Anson, on how we're approaching, you know, visually. First off, you mentioned that in the last episode. Visually, how you look for the race line. I think maybe we should walk the course a little bit. And then I also just kind of want to understand, you know, what your mindset is at when you run into these kind of odd sections. Like I said, it's like sand, 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 then suddenly you're in boulders. And I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with, especially with a lot of the off-road racing we're doing. You know, it's not motocross where it's one set kind of terrain or dirt or whatever, right? So that looking forward is huge, and then just being able to adapt like we've been talking about, right? Coming through, and we can see over here, right, I'm able to just be on the gas, right?
Yeah.
In the faster section of the track, you don't have to worry about much, just, you know, give it gas. Now, being able to kind of turn your brain back and get into a section like this and not just hit it at 110%, but actually use some skill and some thought around it, just like in this corner we're going to talk about, right? It's not a corner I can just come in and blast it.
Yeah.
I have to put a little more skill and thought into it, rolling into this section and, you know, turning from my faster motocross side to now this more technical trialsy kind of side.
Yes.
That's the big thing with off-road is you can't just be good at one thing and expect to be good at off-road, right? You got to be okay at everything, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to adapt and, you know, do these different things. So this is a perfect section, right? Because it really brings us into a super awkward area.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's walk it and break it down.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Dude, it was Cody Webb and me on the podium at Donner. Yeah, I swear to God, it was like 4 different. It was like looking up, talking to him.
All right, Anson. So we've got this very interesting, tight, rutted 180-degree corner. It's kind of a jump coming into it, so I want to get a little insight there. Then we've got this rocky section. So why don't we start right over here?
Yeah, so this corner, right, like we were talking, it's not one of those corners we can just come in and blast it as hard as we want. A lot of it depends on how far we're jumping in, right? If you're jumping short, you're going to be able to accelerate for a little bit before you get into it. If you're jumping as far as you want, you might have to be on the brakes as you come in. But the big thing with this corner, right, as we start coming up it, with this one having this raise as the exit, if we sit here and start applying the throttle, as we hit this raise, our suspension is going to unload.
Yeah.
And we're going to lose traction.
Oh, dude, I'm feeling that already.
Going to kick us sideways, right? So as we're coming in, we're going to want to stay standing. We're still going to try to apply the throttle here, like we would if we were going to sit, roll it on. But then at this point is where we're going to think about sitting for a second.
Oh,
right?
That's really interesting.
Because then now we'll be able to get that traction to give us that little pop as we want to come off it. So for myself, right, as I'm coming out, I'm sitting, I'm trying to hook some traction, but I'm still trying to carry momentum, right? So what I'm gonna try to do is set myself up right about here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna hit and I'm gonna try to jump, because I don't really wanna end up on this side, right? Where it's got that pointy rock. I'm gonna try to jump kind of at an angle, give it a little blip of throttle, and most likely just jump the whole downhill section, right? Because as we're coming in, we don't want to hit that, and the best way to not hit it is to go over the top of it.
Wow.
Right?
You are like the king of outside momentum.
That's what it's about,
That
right?
is like something it's so eye-opening today how you're so outside on everything, and I'm like, dude, I need to practice that.
Right.
I had no idea. And so this is eye-opening. I've been cutting in here and kind of staying away from this area, and you are hitting it and floating down. Huh?
Yeah, just you can kind of see where Ryan's feet are, right? There's track. I'm just kind of popping, giving that little blip of throttle. You'll hear it as I come off a quick blip, and I'm just trying to loft myself over and kind of land in the pocket.
So when you're setting yourself up for stuff like this, as you walk the track, you really are in that mindset of outside momentum often, huh?
As much as I can be, right? Like there's gonna be certain times where you just can't, right? You gotta be inside, or you know, it's a single track or something like that, and you only have so many options. But even on a single track, I'll purposely like tap the front tire on trees, entering corners, and just to get as far out as possible.
And even on single track stuff, I have noticed, like, if I'm really looking to be precise, even on something that's one lane, you can kind of ride the high bit of it at times.
Yeah.
On the entry and exit of the corner, and it gives you a little bit more precision and almost a little bit more stick
For sure.
to the ground, which yeah, that totally makes sense. First off, let's talk, where are you seated through this part?
I stand through the whole corner.
You stand through the whole corner. Okay,
Yeah.
so apparently I'm the only one that's doing it wrong. Very cool. And the other part is, where have you been going here? Are you standing and hitting this part?
I think I was at the beginning of the day, and then I watched Anson
Okay.
come through, and I saw that he was coming a little bit more wide here. Even when I was hitting there, I still was jumping down because it's fun.
Right. That's
What I was doing, but
It wasn't a matter of fun. I kept, I followed you like 67 times. I never picked up on that line. So, so we have this G out, kind of two G outs.
Yep.
What, obviously you're carrying a lot of momentum. A couple of times I was following you, I got sprayed with so many rocks. This is like interesting sand. It's kind of rocky sand. As we come through this, what's your approach on this first initial G out? Because obviously you are carrying a lot of momentum. So what's the mindset going into that?
So exact right, as much momentum into it as I can. The tough part about it is I can carry momentum in, but it's hard to carry momentum out, right? Because if I hit it and I carry the same momentum in as I am out, I'm gonna jump into that next G out, and it's just not gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So as I'm coming into it, everybody's heard of a scrub, right? You're trying to scrub, but it's a pretty advanced technique. So really what you're just trying to do is you're trying to absorb the motorcycle. You're standing,
Yeah.
as the motorcycle comes in, you're absorbing and you're pushing it down so the bike stays on the ground, right? And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm kind of turning the front end and pushing the front end off of it and scrubbing that front wheel so I can get back to the ground. But then with that being said, now I've lost a lot of momentum. So as I come over the top of it, you're getting roosted because I'm landing back on the gas to run through that next G out and go to the next section.
yeah, I feel like when I'm coming down this, as I'm coming into the G out, I'm straightening with my legs and then accelerating and driving up. And then when I'm at the top of it, I do soak it up. And then as soon as my rear wheel comes back down to the ground for the next G out, I'm pushing again.
I love it. Okay, so after you land here, this is where I was getting sandblasted because you're on it. You're coming into the face here. Now, obviously, it's kind of a nice, steady float down. It's rocky. I'm being like cautious. I come over, I mean, maybe I get a little off the ground, but then I'm like trying to just kind of be precise down through. Are you jumping far down?
As I come through here, right, I'm trying to accelerate through that G out. The suspension works better if we're accelerating, right? And this is such a not a gnarly G out by any means, right? So I'm trying to accelerate through that, let the suspension do its thing, and then as I come off the top, I give it a little blip of throttle.
Often, I suppose when you're out here or you're at a race, you're probably looking for any place where you can miss this type of stuff.
Yep.
And you know, not have to worry about dodging, or missing, right?
Rocks aren't my specialty, so if I can jump them, I'm doing way better.
Yeah. All right, so dude, that was really interesting. Like I said, super eye-opening. Again, we kind of come back to that thing that we're seeing from you where you're just straightening out everything. and something that actually Jerry mentioned to me was like how I'm kind of down that rough section with the rocks. I'm kind of going back and forth like this, where you're straightening everything out. I mean, you're scrubbing, which is like insane, and then just driving straight. And it's something that's we've noticed throughout these 3 episodes that we've done is you are all about holding momentum and straightening out every line, and it's eye-opening. It's something that I want to really work on. That's why I love this stuff. It's really interesting. What did you see?
Yeah, both you guys looked good, right? You both super smooth. The biggest thing, right, is just now the aggression in between each one, right? Like that, as soon as, even before you touch down, you're already applying the throttle, right?
Yeah.
We're pre-revving the motorcycle, so as it touches, we're making forward momentum and not waiting for it to touch and then get that forward momentum. And then like James, his next step is really just getting that scrub, right? Because he's got the soak, he's soaking it up, and once you get that scrub into it, you're just be able to carry again another, half a mile an hour, but that half mile an hour you do it in 10 different laps. There's a second or 2 a lap.
Right.
But other than that, both you guys look good. Now it's just that little bit more of aggression, hitting it harder. But again, I am a fan of straightening it out. The straightest way possible is almost always better because we can carry the momentum. And then if we could jump different sections, we're not having to worry about hitting rocks. And
we all know the straight line and all of that, trying to make sure that you're straightening out every corner, straightening out trying to hold that straight line is super important. But to the extent that you do it is just like, wow, that is so eye-opening. And again, it's great to come out and get feedback and training from every single rider you possibly can, and it's never over, right? I mean, you can never get enough information, and you can never get enough progression. That it never ends, right? It just is always going. So
I'm always learning.
Yes, exactly. It's good to be
people as I can.
Yeah, I always say there is no such thing as mastery, only the pursuit of mastery. I really appreciate everything you're doing, Anson. And again, if you guys want to reach out to Anson and get a nice training session, Maloney Training Facility. I'm sure you got a .com, yeah?
Yep. Or
it.
Instagram or Facebook.
Hit the dude up, get the training. I can guarantee you'll go faster. The insights that I got today was so incredible, and I really enjoyed it, man. Anson, you're the man, dude. Follow Anson. Make sure you're checking out all his stuff. Follow James Flynn, and of course follow IRC Moto, myself, my personal Instagram page at Richardson511. Man, I can't wait to do more of these. I need to get you out on some hard enduro.
Heck yeah, that's next. I'm ready to go tumble down some rocks.
I love it. Well, stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this stuff, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, keep shredding.